Finding the keys to avoid falling into addictions. Empty of myself, a dive into addictions. The child, despite his desire and his need to be closer to himself, learns to be compliant, adapted, and happy. There is no place for the loser and the depressed. He enlisted in social system that's supposed to work. He is under constant pressure from the school. You have to act like this, be like that, look like him or her, be efficient, the best. Always this much more that can lead to search for a product. Miracle to respond to these injunctions. With Freud, separation is the child's first experience with his mother. He suffers as soon as he loses sight of her. This absence, which he experiences at any time, may subsequently generate search to end this chronic suffering that is the other, that one cannot possess. We would like to have more, to get what the other has. We are afraid of losing everything. We suffer from madness of independence, so as no experience of separation. The toxic or any addiction is then like a denial of the lost object, wanting to no longer suffer and gain enjoyment. Everything at all cost at all times. Addictions represent internalization, which consists of physically putting the other and oneself. For a child to develop, he must nourish himself physically with his mind in effectively and sociability. The onset of adolescence is signaled by the onset of puberty with physically and psychological changes. This, therefore, causes an entire reorganization of the personality. Adolescence confronts the process of separation, which makes it a favorable period for the installation of addictive behaviors. The teenager will need time to integrate his new body. Physical evolution is faster than psychological evolution. He realizes that he is becoming responsible. It is fundamental break with childhood. It is the symbolic death of childhood. The adolescent brain is different. It reaches maturity around 25 years old. He hasn't finished growing. As a result, adolescents do not act like adults when faced with social constraints, impulses, and other pressures. The teenager is looking for a performance, a surpassing to be more successful. He needs a mirror to know his value, his image in a need of his reinforcement of the ego. Puberty is a thread of balance. The problem of territory, openness to freedoms, you have to use your personal resources. Period. Revealing his narcissist resources, his self-esteem, his degree of confidence. The more he feels threatened in his autonomy and in insecurity, the more he goes toward addictive behaviors. We fill the gap with addiction and we renew a permanent lack. Enjoyment would therefore be in the consumption of unattainable object, for which we develop strategies to obtain it. The preparatory phase to obtain it also bring excitement in the strategies of the supply of the toxic. knowing that one can return there to have future cigarette in the pocket, toxic of the next shot, to buy the bottle of whiskey, the candy pockets. What is at stake is the death drive. There is a risk taking to play with death. We can prefer enjoyment in life. It's playing Russian roulette with your life. Addiction allows you both to satisfy yourself and to feel like you dominate the other. It is, therefore, a means of replacing an emotional dependence which can be considered as a real pathology of the bond. Addiction does not feed, does not allow you to get out of it. You think about it all day. You fall into improvisement unacceptable to yourself. The shame, the doubt that constantly invades. Work addiction is overwork. Doping, every day it is the marathon that will meet the needs of the company. Addiction to sport makes you feel like you are no longer tired. It is a hold on your own body, a search for your limits. Tobacco addiction is a need to escape chloroquine. By sucking the smoke inside, you feel like you have more space for yourself, more freedom, more territory. As you breathe out, the symbolism could be to discharge aggressiveness, to get some fresh air, to distance yourself, to smoke the other, to distance yourself from yourself. Behind all dependence, we must work on emotional dependence hidden somewhere, fill a void, a lack. To get out of it, it would be necessary. Stop looking for compensation elsewhere that can be found in oneself. To look for meaning in your life. To realize this ambivalence that we do not choose to go badly, but we suffer when we want to try to be well, because to be well is anxiety provoking. There will necessarily be an end. There is no mastery happiness trying to succeed in taking the risk of having frustrations and disappointments. To seek in oneself what there is like the power of vitality behind, because it is not the fear which dictates the choices not to taken by this fear. Everyone has their inner pearl. It's up to us to open the shell and clean the mud. Penetrate deeply. We have to go into our dark areas without being afraid. Agree to say yes to the washing machine in the stomach. Do not get stuck in inner certainties, in memories that do not belong to us. We must die to that, to our habits, to our patterns, to our constructions, to our automatic pilot. Become aware of the baggage that we have and that we can adapt our structure, change, take other resources, clean instead of adding dust to dust. We are not the prisoner of our life. If we set off at some point, the purpose of our life becomes clear. It is unstoppable.